Are we ready to roll?
Yes. Ready to rock and roll.
Ready to rock and roll? All right. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm back.
Geraldine's back. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to you and welcome to you to Rigid Girls episode 5 with Geraldine again. She's back. She's back at the podcast. She's back in Australia. How are you doing?
I'm settling back in, but I'm also planning another trip.
Nice.
I'm at work planning my trip in between jobs.
Mhm.
No, I'm not to my
Oops.
employer if you watch this.
She's not.
But yeah, I feel like I've gotten the travel bug since going. I think leaving made me realize there's such a big world out there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, I wasn't expecting anyone.
Oh my god, who is that?
I'm gonna not answer that. I don't know who that is.
Maybe it's your mom.
It's probably my mom.
Do you think it's your mom?
Let me go
and check. Go and check. Yeah, take the mic with you. Give me the vape.
Yeah,
it's mine.
You hide this if she
I'm
comes.
hiding it in my mouth.
It was a random woman asking to speak to my neighbor.
Okay.
She was like, "I'm sorry to randomly call you." I'm like, that's fine. You know him by name. That's all good.
Fair enough. I just wanted to speak into the vape.
Okay.
Nice.
Yes. But yes, there's a bigger world out there, and I think I realized that just like seeing people go about their lives when I was like, I guess when I'm at my desk, this is what you're doing.
Yep.
So yeah, I want to go more traveling, and I did pay for an express passport, so I'm like, I might as well fucking use this thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that's how I'm going.
Love that. Love it. So for everyone who hasn't listened to the first episode with Geraldine, go do that. But also, Geraldine just did a trip to Peru and came back 2 weeks ago.
Yes, it was a very big trip.
Big trip and a trip.
And a trip. There was a trip within the trip.
It's double trip.
Double trip.
Yeah.
So yeah, the last time I went to Peru, I was 17, and I went with my family. And now I'm 25, and I was like, I don't want to wait another 10 more years, so I decided to go to Peru. But I specifically went to do ayahuasca. I think I mentioned that in the last episode.
Yes.
And yes, I did ayahuasca, and that was like, there is no amount of research that can prepare you for what it is. It's just, there are no words. Like, every time you do it, it will be completely different, and everyone that does it with you, it will hit people completely different depending on what they need to hear at that present moment.
Fair.
So it's like known as Mother Ayahuasca.
Mama Aya.
Mama Aya. Yeah, so Mother Ayahuasca gets that name because it tells you things that you don't want to hear, but you have to hear. Just like your mother. Like, your mother will tell you things that you don't want to hear, but you got to hear it because she's your mother. And it comes from a very like maternal place, a place of like guiding you to being a better person.
Love.
Yeah, a place from love. So yeah, I was away for 7 days. 2 of those days I went to Machu Picchu, but I went to the Sacred Valley in Peru. And the Sacred Valley is just a valley of mountains, and they were saying that there is female and male energy in everything, in us and in the land, and female energy is mostly found in the mountains. And I was like, that makes sense because I love mountains. Like, I feel it makes more sense why I love mountains. I'm so attracted to them. And I was also speaking to another friend who was saying that makes sense because there are some places in Australia that have like very male energy, and because Indigenous culture, there are certain parts of the land that are dedicated to men and certain places that are dedicated to women. Like, waterholes in New South Wales and in Australia are only female only. So that I guess it has that female energy as well to it. But yeah, the mountains, and yeah, the actual property was stunning. Like when I was looking out at the mountains, I felt like I wasn't looking at real life. Like I felt like I was looking at a movie. I know I went to Machu Picchu, but the place that I went to honestly was much better than Machu Picchu. Like,
Sick.
yeah, like people would say, "Oh, like when I look at Machu Picchu, I feel like I'm looking at a film." I'm like, "Yeah, Machu Picchu is beautiful, but this place, like, it literally doesn't look real. Like these mountains look insane." Um, so the actual property was on two cliff sides of a mountain, and one side was all of the accommodation, and the other side was like the eating and like another room to like go and meditate. But to get to each place, you had to like run down these stairs, and then go down the valley, like past the over a over a bridge of a stream, and then you had to run all the way back up to the other place. And because of the high altitude, every time you did it, you would be like out of breath, like, and even all of the staff would be out of breath coming up. I'm like, it really doesn't get easier.
Fuck.
Yeah.
How high up is it?
So Cusco, I think, is 13,000 feet, and I
What's
think
that in meters?
a lot. Here, let's. So 3,399. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, 11,152 feet above sea level.
Fuck.
Which is a lot because Sydney is zero, like not
Yeah.
zero, but like
Well,
close to
pretty
it.
close to zero.
Yeah.
I mean,
so-
if you're at Bondi Beach,
Yeah.
you're at zero.
Yeah, you're at 0 feet. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so. So yeah, I had to go a couple days in anticipation to go and acclimatize, and it's actually funny because I was in a hostel, so I booked a room with bunks because I was like, I'm gonna sleep in a room with people at the retreat. I might as well just sleep with people as well, continue that, save a bit of money. And I met this girl, Carly, and
Hi, Carly.
Carly, I love you. And I feel like that was another universe friend.
Yeah.
Like we say that we're universe friends.
Yeah.
But I feel like Carly and I just met like per chance, and I really connected with her. She's also she's working remotely and traveling South America, and she's inspired me to eventually one day do that. Um, but yeah, I was in a room full of bunks, and one day, because like the altitude sickness can get people really hard.
Yep.
I met like an Australian guy there, and he, like, one thing that you shouldn't do when you're trying to acclimatize is also not drink, because
Yep.
yeah, because like you can get really fucked up from the altitude, and he
Yeah.
didn't know that. So the next day I saw him.
Zero research.
No,
Like none.
none.
Fuck off.
And then the next day I saw him after he went and hung out with some people, and he was wrecked. And he was like, he looked so unwell. I'm like, didn't you know you shouldn't do that? And he's like, no, I didn't even drink that much. I'm like, yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
but yeah, I was in
Whatever
a room.
that means too, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. I was in a room full of people, and I was with Carly, and she was on the other side of the room, and I was in my bunk. We were both at the top bunks, and I went home one day early during the day because I was tired from walking around, and also the climate. The climatizing makes you really tired. I go to bed, and then at one point of the day, I wake up around 2 o'clock to this moaning. Like it literally sounded like,
Fuck, you told me
Yes,
that. That
yes!
was so funny.
I was like, who the fuck is masturbating in here? Like, you gotta be some sort of like, you gotta have some sort of sick fetish
Like
to masturbate with a bunch of people in bunks right now. Like, they're I don't know, not a sick. Sick.
Scratch that.
I mean, you gotta be a person to do that.
You gotta be a person.
And I was like trying to look over to Carly in her bunk and be like, Carly, are we hearing this? Am I going crazy? Am I like hallucinating right now? And it's coming from her side of the room. And later I reconvene with Carly, and I'm like, Carly, did we hear what we heard? She's like, yeah, we heard. And then later she was like, after you left, because I left at one point, like shit went down too. Like someone was like crying in the room, like full on wailing. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is my first experience in a hostel. But then later I spoke to the person that I thought was making the noise, and each bunk had curtains, so you couldn't see in. And she opened up her curtain, and her bed looked like a nest. And she was like, I've been like really struggling with the altitude, and I think she was just like literally moaning from
like just being so sick.
yeah, like so sick, like so ill. And then later another girl was like, "Oh, where are you off to now?" Because I was packing my bag, getting ready to go, and I was like, "Oh, I'm off to go do ayahuasca." She was like, "Oh my god, I'd love to do that. It's just not the trip right now." And then the girl who was moaning was like, "I'm gonna go do ayahuasca."
Maybe you shouldn't, Bubs. I don't know. Just
But
an idea.
that gave a clear indication to me that she was just sick, because to do ayahuasca you can't masturbate.
Oh right.
Yeah,
Yeah, right,
yeah.
right. Maybe she
So
didn't read the thing properly though.
maybe. But yeah, so very interesting people that you meet at a hostel. So that was the pre-hostel, like pre-ayahuasca experience. Cusco was beautiful. It's a very spiritual town. Like Lima, the capital, is very intense. Like a lot of things are going on. It's very polluted. Like people drive like they're like in Mad Max or something. Like
Sick.
there are no road rules. Like people just go crazy. And my uncle used to be a bus driver in Peru, and being a bus driver in Peru sets you up to be a very skilled driver. So he's driving me to the airport, and this car to the left of us is just coming towards, like, about to like side hit us, and it stops within like so close, and I'm just like freaking out, and they're just all chill. My uncle's chill, my other uncle's chill. I'm like, did you guys not just see? We almost just got hit? And they're like, it's fine.
Whatever.
But yeah,
That's wild.
this is a tangent. So yeah, ayahuasca, finally got to the place. I had to send a photo of the car to my mum, being like, this is where I'm going. Like, this is the car in case. Like, because I was nervous, like,
Of
going by
course.
myself, not knowing who these people are. I just gave them a large sum of money.
You gave them a huge amount of money for them to drug you
Yeah.
consensually. Like,
yeah.
that's
yeah.
wild.
Um,
It's like, hey, I worked
yeah.
for quite a while,
And here's
so
my
you
money.
can drug me.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And like before, I got I had to send some medical certificates and things like that to them. They were very thorough. Like I had to do quite a few examinations.
Blood tests and all that,
Yeah.
right? Mm.
And yeah, a lot of blood test, like a blood test and a lot of tests. And then the doctor sends me an email and says, we are waiting for you with open arms. And I'm like, this is a really strange email to get from a doctor. But then I was like, okay, the context is I'm going to an ayahuasca retreat, so this is okay in this context.
Yes, it is.
If my doctor in Sydney was like, I'm waiting for you,
I'm awaiting you with open arms and an open heart, Geraldine. We're looking forward to your visit.
Yes, really looking forward. So do I explain more about like the
explain whatever you want to
Okay.
explain. So for everyone listening, this is mainly an update on what's been happening, because I'm like, obviously I got the voice memos, the
Oh, yeah,
calls,
yeah.
and all that, but I also think it's like it's so interesting because not a lot of people do trips like that, like,
No.
and by trips I mean going to Lima and Cusco and Machu Picchu and sick valleys somewhere in the mountains.
Yeah.
But then also most people don't do trips like that, as in do the most potent drug on the planet for funds. It's
fun,
not for
yeah.
fun. It's not for the shits and gigs, to be fair. It was for recreational purposes. But
Yeah, it was for deeper healing. It was for deeper
the full brain reset.
full brain reset.
Factory reset.
Brain factory reset. That's what I was calling it, as you knew.
Yeah.
So yes, we get there, do a big induction, meet all the staff, and then on that night we go to do ayahuasca that first night. And I'm really at peace. Like I'm very calm. Like I know that it's going to be intense, but I didn't understand how intense it would be. And so we sit in the room, we meet the shamans. There's a shaman from the Andes, and there's two shamans from the jungle. Two beautiful women. They were really sweet. They were sisters. They are sisters.
Like for real or spiritually?
For real sisters. They tend to be siblings because well, they work in pairs. So because they're they're spiritually connected to you, and they take a lot of the energy that people come with. And if people come with really malice energy, they sometimes can die from they're known to die from taking on such heavy burdens from people. So they work in pairs, so when one is feeling really heavy, the other one will come and help her or help them, and vice versa. um so yes, on the night we sit in a circle, we do meditation, we do an intention, and we do like exercises to get all the anxious energy out, and then that's when the real show happens. Like, so they pour it to you in a little shot glass, like an espresso shot glass. They give you a dosage, and it's like this black liquid, and ayahuasca is made from leaves and a root, and it's boiled for 12 hours, and it's this really black liquid, and it tastes like Vegemite.
Tasty.
So
Put it on your toast.
oh, I tried. Like,
Mm.
I was at work and I was smelling the Vegemite. I was like, oh, maybe I can smell this now.
Oh, sick. Ayahuasca.
Yeah, and I literally gagged. I was like, I can't do this. I can't have Vegemite for like a while now.
I mean, I hate Vegemite.
I loved it.
So,
I
yeah.
love that shit. Like, I love Vegemite. But drinking, like, imagine drinking pure Vegemite, like liquid.
Yeah, I can't even fucking put Vegemite on a
Yeah.
toast. So, no, it's a no for me.
So I have a shot glass of it, and the room is dark, and they smoke
Is it fully dark?
Yeah.
Like completely dark?
Well, there's a little altar in the middle with like flowers and like crystals and a incense burning of San Paulo, like the
Palo Santo?
Palo Santo. They burn so much of that stuff, and it sticks to your clothes.
Love that smell though.
I love it too, but I need a break from it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But yeah, we sit in the room. Everyone's got their little beds, and they give you like a nice cushion in the back, and they give you blankets, and they have like a bucket because you're gonna vomit, potentially, most likely.
It kind of is the idea.
That is the point of it, like purging. Either you have bowel movements or you have vomiting, and
or both,
or potentially both.
Big fun.
Big fun. I did not have bowel movements, but I did vomit quite a bit. And so yeah, you drink it. I drank it. I fell asleep.
Sure.
You shouldn't fall asleep because you're supposed to listen to the chanting. You're supposed to be very attentive and like focusing on your intention. And I didn't do that. And then they come over to me and they wake me up and they're like, "Are you feeling it?" I'm like, "I'm feeling nothing."
Feeling what?
Yeah.
Am I supposed to feel something?
Yeah, literally. And I'm like, "No, I'm not feeling anything." And they're like, they give me a little bit more time, and I'm like touching my fingers, like doing like some like things to see like where my brain is at. And I'm like, "Yeah, I feel really conscious, like I'm still in,
like, aware."
Yeah, I feel aware. I'm not anywhere right now. And then they come over, they give me a little bit more time goes past, nothing. And then they give me a bit more, and I was like hesitant. I'm like, I don't know. And they were like, "Do you want more?" I'm like, "Okay." And they give me a tiny bit. And then after that tiny bit, shit went down. It just went down. I won't go. How much do? I guess I'll say certain things. Like, there was a really beautiful point where like the whole point of it is learning to surrender, and I think that's something that I'm coming to learn now, even now, practicing surrendering in the sense of like accepting my emotions, accepting my thoughts, and like things like that. And so when you're doing ayahuasca, you can have some very scary visions, but the point of these visions are like tests to see if you're ready for the next thing. And
like within the trip.
Yeah, like it's a signifier to ayahuasca that you're ready for the next thing. And one of them was seeing myself die or dead. Like I was viewing myself, looking at myself dead and rotting away, which is not a great thought. But in the moment, I just remember thinking, like, that's okay. Like, this is fine. I'm returning to the land. And the moment I said that, my body grew flowers and I like sunk into the earth. And that was really beautiful. And yeah, after that first night, I felt like I wasn't going to do this again. Like, even during it, I was asking the staff, like, when will this end? And they're like, oh, 1 o'clock, 1 a.m. in the morning. And I'm like, what time is it now? And like 9 p.m.
Thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to hear.
I'm like, great.
This is awesome.
And like, people like, how is it? Like, how long does it go for? And it's like, time is a
Too
construct.
long, yeah.
Like,
freaking long lifetimes.
Yeah. Like, that's such a cliche. Time is a construct, but it's true. Like in that moment, you lose concept of things. Like I feel like I've described it as if you're in between a door where you're like somewhat in reality and then you're not in reality. Like you go a level beyond reality and you come back and forward. You step through that door, and yeah, I think I just struggled to surrender, like to be in a state like that, because I've never done like hardcore psychedelics like that before, and I feel like I came into it very naive, um not understanding like what this truly meant. So yeah, at one point during the trip I was like, there's no amount of money that will get me to do this again.
You literally called me the next morning and you were like, Sophie, I'm never doing that again, and I think that's going to tell you everything you need to know about my trip. And I was like, sure.
Yeah, but yeah, at the end of it I was really, really emotionally tired from it, like emotionally tired and physically tired, because like I told you, there's a lot of purging and you don't have really control of anything. But I had a lot of information, and the next day we got to sit with the shamans and discuss what we had seen, and that really helped me process things.
Yeah.
And it was anticipated that I would do ayahuasca first night, second night, rest night, and then again on the night after that. But the second night I was like, I'm done. I can't do this. So I took a night off to rest. But I had called my mum on the third day, and I was like, Mom, like this is a lot. And she was like, I'm really proud of you. Like this is like you're doing, like you're really brave for doing this.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, thank you,
and
Mom.
She was a bit like concerned with the idea of it from the get-go, right?
Yeah.
So it's like really beautiful that she circled back to it in a sense like that.
Like my whole intention of this was, like I had done everything that I possibly could in Sydney, like with going to therapy, doing CBT therapy, exercising, taking medication, everything that I felt I had done, but I felt like my anxiety and depression was resistant to what was here, and I felt like I needed to do something more. And to some that might seem like I was desperate for like improvement, but I just felt like I needed to do something different because the things that I had been doing weren't enough. And so I went with that intention, and having heard my mum and then talking to you, and I also took 5 days off social media. I told people like, don't contact me, like, oh, I'm not going to be contactable. And then I came back online just for a brief moment, seeing all the people that were like, I hope that you're safe, and like I'm really like you're doing amazing, and seeing all that supportive reassurance made me want to like keep going. And I was like, the mindset that you come with this is really important. So I sat down and I said, like, this medicine has something to teach me, and I will sit here and humbly listen, like regardless of whether it's really scary or it's incredibly beautiful. Like there's something here that I have to sit and listen. So, and after I was talking to one of the other girls at the retreat, and she was like, if I were you, I would do it tonight. And that was like, yeah, I'm doing it tonight. I'm like very easily influenced.
Perfect.
I had like I was like teetering on the idea of like, maybe I should do it again. And she's like, do it. I was like, fuck it, yeah, let's do it.
I mean, to be fair, you already had all of those like thoughts beforehand, and then she was just like, yeah, I think you should, and like just told you what you needed to hear.
Yeah.
So it wasn't her being like, I think you should totally do it, even
Yeah.
though you don't feel like it and
No.
whatever.
I was even talking to her and I was like, before she had said that, and I was like, oh, I guess I'll do it just because I'm here. I mean, like, why not? And she's like, that's not the mindset to have. And I was like, that is true. That is not the mindset I should have. And then I backtracked and I was like, no, I will sit here and humbly listen. So
Yeah.
on the third night, I sat again, and this night was actually worse than the first night. But, but so this night I came in with the intention of loving kindness, and loving kindness to me is like love, giving, but never expecting like
Anything in return.
and that's like a very Buddhist mentality. Like I had been going to the
Yeah.
Sydney Buddhist center and practicing that, the metta bhavana, and it's just the idea of giving and like projecting love into the world to people that you care about and to people you don't know, and even the universe, just projecting this love. And so I wanted to learn how I could become better at giving and receiving love. And so I didn't fall asleep this time. I sat there and I was like loving kindness, and I could see myself go into to lose like reality, like lose my train of thought. Like I could see the medicine working as I was repeating the intention. I would start off saying like, I'm here to practice loving kindness. I want to learn like giving and receiving. And then eventually like my mantra just ended with the words giving, receiving, giving, receiving, giving, receiving, because I couldn't say it in my mind anymore.
Yeah.
And I could see myself slipping into that mindset. But yeah, on this night I try to remain really calm, work on my breath work, and just like humbly listen. Like anytime that I felt like I was going to purge, I was like, I'm just gonna like just breathe and let it go through, and like that feeling would eventually pass. But there was a point where it like I slipped and I couldn't be I couldn't let it pass, and that's when it went down. But before that I was seeing like beautiful visions of love. Like I could feel what love felt like, I could see what love felt like, seeing it in colors and seeing it in people in my life, and then being open to seeing love even in the room, like seeing the staff tending to me and how kind they were, and how even though yes this is their job, but they went above and beyond. Like they treated us with so much kindness, no judgment, and I could see that. And then in the second part of the night, that's when it went really like really intense, and I just wouldn't stop feeling sick. And I think I came to the realization that I had not been giving myself loving kindness. I hadn't been treating my body, myself, with that love that it deserves. And in order to give love, you really need to start with the self. Like you need to give yourself love. And like learning to accept that I hadn't been doing that. And yeah, like I spoke to the doctor and I explained it, and she said like, it seems like you've reached your intention. So yeah, it was even though like at one point in the night I was literally so sick, um, but I was kind of like happy. I was like, or just like, I was like, this is fine, like this is it. And I think that goes back to the fact that I said like I'll sit here and humbly listen regardless of whatever state I'm in.
Yeah.
So after that, I decided that was enough. No more revelations.
We're okay.
I want to go to bed with no more revelations, but it feels like I have to go back one day to finish off what I started.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll do that one day when I know Spanish better.
Fair.
So I can speak to the shamans better. But regardless of whether I did ayahuasca or not, the space was beautiful. Like being in the mountains, being disconnected for 5 days, and like there were also no mirrors on the property. So not seeing myself in a mirror for 5 days was very interesting, because like how many opportunities do you have that?
I I don't know. I don't think I ever even went like maybe like 3 days in Nepal. At one point they don't have any mirrors anymore in like the tea houses, but that might have been like 3 days max. And I still had my phone and like looked at myself in a selfie camera.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I'd
but
look in the
that
mirror.
is weird.
I'd
Like,
look in the windows and be like, how do I look?
yeah. Do I look like someone who just did ayahuasca? Like, how does one look?
But it was honestly also a really good body reset. Like, yes, you're purging, but I was not we would only serve breakfast for 5 days. So after breakfast, there was no more eating. There was only tea and fruits. And it made me realize how much I was eating before. Like, here it's a Western concept, I guess, or it's a concept here to eat 3 times a day. But over there, it's not really like you don't have to eat every
meal.
Every meal. And you can feel really like satiated. You can be fine.
Yeah, I know that's kind of sidetracking, but I like when I started listening to my body more, I started eating at like really random times because I don't eat breakfast, and that was always something that my mom was like super concerned about, for example. And then at one point, like as an adult, I kind of noticed, well, I need to eat whenever I'm hungry and when I feel like eating. And there is, as time is a concept, 3 meals a day also is a concept. Like, I don't need to eat breakfast and lunch and dinner and then a snack and then this and that. I can eat whenever my body says I would like to eat something right now, and not deny it whatever it wants. And when it wants it. And yeah, because it's so like, it's so much more than just eating. It's like giving yourself the nutrients you need to survive and live and be happy and healthy.
I think it's like important. It taught me the importance of like eating whole foods, not just eating like really processed foods, like eating like more fruits in abundance and things like that. And so yeah, after all of that, we were also not allowed to go back to eating. Well, not allowed to, but it was recommended that we don't go back to straight eating our lifestyle because our stomachs were like really sensitive.
Of course, yeah.
So like no pork, but I was in a hotel.
Right, you told me. That was great.
Did I tell you?
I think you told me, yeah.
I was in a hotel and I was eating the buffet and I was like, oh, this adobo is so good. And I just like I ate it like 2-3 times. I went back to the buffet the third time and I looked at the card and I was like, oh, what is this? Is this chicken? It's pork. And they said, do not eat pork.
Like specifically.
Yeah. I was
like chicken is okay. Beef is also okay. Don't eat pork. And you're like, you know what? Pork's on the menu. Let's go.
I was fucking like, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Am I going to be like really sick? But yeah, like.
Were you? No.
No, I was fine. But I was really concerned for a moment. But yeah, after that, I was not allowed to have alcohol as well for a period of time, and no hard drugs and no drugs in general. And I think coming back, I'm also just not drinking as much. I'm like, I just don't feel like the need. Like in Australia, like recently, there's come out a report saying what drugs young people take the most, and it's alcohol, like by 70%.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, we have a big drinking culture in Australia, and I just don't feel the need.
Yeah.
Yeah, really big drinking culture problem.
I mean, I say that I'm German. We have a big drinking culture problem as well. So,
yeah. But yeah, I just don't feel the need to do these things as much.
That's cool.
But yes, so since coming back, you said to me before if I felt like this is the factory reset or brain factory reset. Is it like, is my brain fully factory resetted? And I don't think it is. I think it's given me a direction in life on how to proceed with a full brain factory reset. I think that's like the destination, but oh no, that's the direction.
Yeah,
it's a direction, but I won't ever fully get to a full brain factory reset.
And to be 100% fair, do we really want that? Like, because that would mean giving up everything you are, like, you know, like all the things that make you would just not be there anymore. And you're like a fully blank paper to like, yeah. And do you really want that? because that would mean none of the beautiful things that happen to you have anything to do with you anymore. That's all, like, none of that is part of your, like, personality and identity anymore. And that, to be fair, would be really fucking sad. And I think, without wanting to take anything away from you here, but I think what, like, the conversations we've had since you got back were, like, very, I don't know, they all, I always felt like you had a goal in mind and, like, an idea of where you wanted to go in a certain aspect of your life. And you tried to work through that and on that. And I think that's the way we learn and we grow.
Yeah. I think it's provided me tools and information, and I just need action.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't going to ever be a solution, like the final solution to everything. It is just giving me more information to move on with my life.
Yeah.
The learning and growing and improving is just a lifelong journey that I'll have to go, like, we'll all have to go through. So there's no solution to this. There's no solution to my sick brain.
We're all a big sick in the brain.
But no, it was an extremely interesting experience. Like, people ask me, was it good? And I'm like, I have no yes. I can't give a yes to that. It was an experience. I can't, like, attribute it was good or bad. Like, it just was.
I also think maybe there's just not a thing as good and bad. Maybe there is more to. I had that conversation a couple of days ago about it was about good and evil, but I think it's a very similar situation where it's like there is no good and evil, there's no good and bad, there is good in bad and there's bad in good, and it's always both, and it's always everything in between. And there can be good aspects of it, and some of the aspects were bad, and even the bad aspects, like, you obviously didn't fucking like purging, because who does?
Yeah, right.
But then there was something good in it, because it made you realize the way you treated your body beforehand and the way you want to treat your body afterwards. So there is good in that really bad feeling. And then, even though you liked that, like, picture of you growing flowers out of your dead body, that's beautiful and that was something good, but at the same time it is something where you let something within yourself go, which one could describe as something bad, because it is scary and weird. And I just think we have to stop thinking about things as good and bad. Maybe things can just be, or, like, be something in between. And maybe the question shouldn't be, was it good or bad? Maybe the question should be, did you come to realizations that made you make better decisions for yourself in life?
Yes. Yeah, for certain. Yeah, coworkers, I did tell my coworkers what I was doing. But I feel like it's such a personal experience. And, like, I'm very, like, I keep that experience very close to my heart. So telling certain people is, like, it takes a lot of trust for me to tell people. Like, at the lunch table, my coworker was like, "Did you realize anything?" I'm like,
well, I'm not gonna tell you.
I'm not
you
telling you at the lunch table at work. But this is
like, oh yeah, and then I saw myself rotting.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you either have to take me out on a date, be someone really close, or be my therapist. You have to either pay me or I have to pay you.
Exactly.
Like, there's no in between.
We're not doing this for free.
This is not a free show.
Fuck no.
My trauma is not for free.
No. This is not like a fucking comedy event where I tell you about the most traumatic situation in my life as if it's stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
That's something I do. That's not something you do.
But no, it was also very interesting to meet the people who went on this this trip, there was these 3 guys that went.
All right.
Yeah. There was
So silly.
There was
That's
these
so
3
dumb.
guys from India who live in America now, and they had known each other since college, and they had a pact between them where if one of them turns 40, I think, that person who turned, like, it's their birthday, they choose an activity for the 3 of them to do. And so the birthday boy, chose for them to go and do ayahuasca. And you should not do ayahuasca just for the shits and giggles.
As a party trick?
This is not Las Vegas.
Exactly. If you want to have a great birthday party, like, go on a yacht.
Yeah, go do something else.
Yeah.
Like, go do something recreational, something fun. Like,
you can go do shrooms with your friends, like, on the beach. That's chill. But
Yeah.
like, don't go to, like, what?
yeah, no. And so, yeah, if you go and do ayahuasca, you have to have, like, very clear intention. People call it as the calling. They say,
Yeah.
like, there's just something innate within them that is drawing them to do this. And I felt that, and the other women that I were with also felt that. But these men obviously did not feel that. And so they did ayahuasca 2 times. They were also supposed to be with me for the full 5 days. They ended up leaving after the 3rd day. They were
I
like,
fucking wonder
Yeah.
why.
they said that they had seen, like, really scary things, and then they were like, we're done. Like, one of them felt like they were gonna have a heart attack. Like, you're not going to actually die. You just have the sensation that you're going to die. Like, if you fight it, it's just going to come back worse and worse. So you have to just surrender. So yeah, they ended up leaving after 3 days, and I was really happy because they were nice people, but they were just really inconsiderate.
Now, you also said, like, they acted as if they're, like, in a pub.
Yes.
Throughout the,
Yes.
like, while everyone else is fucking tripping out, they're like, yo,
Yes.
what's up?
Yes. And one of them learned consent.
One of them learned, like, imagine you have to turn 40 and have to go on an ayahuasca trip to understand how consent works. That's mad,
Yeah,
bro.
like, one of them was just like, they said after me, like, on the first night, they saw me and they're like, how was it for you? And I was like, thank God it's over. And he was like, really? You think it, like, you think that? And I was, like, shaken. I was just like, and they were like, can I hug you? And
No.
as you know, I don't like physical affection, especially from people that I don't know.
That's not our love language.
But I'm a people pleaser, so I said yes. I said, yes, you can hug me, even though I was like, I do not want to be touched right now. And I was like, if that will make you feel better, sure, you can hug me. But anyway, yeah, so he was saying, like, he did ayahuasca, and he just felt like this incredible love. He felt like all these incredible feelings. And then while we were in the ceremony, he went up to another guy on the other side of the room and went to touch him because he was like, I just want to, like, share this love. And, like, this guy, like, freaked out because, like, imagine a hand in pitch black coming up to you. So, and then after that, he was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't fucking touch people just, like, without their consent, without, like, in a dark room.
Homeboy literally understood how complex emotions and consent works on an ayahuasca trip.
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
Mama Aya really said, you gotta learn this, bro.
I'm glad that he learned potentially something. However, maybe just
grateful.
a few years too late.
I mean, better late than never.
Better
right?
late than never.
But,
better late than never. But
yeah.
yes, you meet some very interesting people. Like, I met a woman who works on a super yacht, and
that's still so wild.
yeah, she works for a super yacht for a billionaire. And I was like, oh, do his kids come on, like, the boat? And she was like, his kids are like 60, he's 90.
90-year-old billionaire.
Yeah, is he
if you
adopting?
need someone to work on your super yacht or come visit every now and then and just hang out there.
But yes, I met some very interesting people. People that I would never come into contact with. But
yeah, I mean, that's what traveling does for you too, right?
For sure.
You meet people from everywhere in, like, literally every state of life, every, like, age group, and so on. And especially when you go do something like ayahuasca, I feel like there's so many different reasons why you could have that calling.
Yeah.
So it's just really interesting to see why that particular person's there and what's happening for them.
I would talk to people. Like one woman I would talk to, and she was a badass. Like,
Let's go.
such a badass. She did ayahuasca 4 nights in a row.
Let's go.
I had a espresso cup of ayahuasca.
Right, she had like liters of it, right?
Yeah, she had a mug of it. By the end of the night, she drank a whole mug. Yes, she had a whole mug of it. And because it was the 4th night, the last night, and she was like, this is the grand finale. Like, we need to go full out. And on the 3rd night,
that's what she said?
Yeah, she was she was like, we need to go hard because
we need to go hard.
yeah.
Let's go hard on ayahuasca, bro.
Yeah, dude, she was incredible. Like,
we're ODing on ayahuasca, on Mama Aya right now. Let's go.
But she was saying, because like she was so like, she had such a shield about her. Like, she just found it really hard to like open up and reflect on her feelings and like go deeper. But on like the 3rd night, when I was there with her, the shamans came in and they were like, you're here? Like, you're here doing this?
To her?
Yeah. They're like, so the shaman said, you're here. It's like you're one of us. Like, you're doing it with us every night. Like, shaman, they also have to take ayahuasca while they do it.
To connect with the
us.
people who do it.
And it's very strange because like when they're sitting in front of you, they are literally connected to you. So at one point I was sick and I was defeated. I was just like, oh my god, I hope this ends. But after that, I started laughing because the shaman in front of me was laughing, and I didn't know why she was laughing, and I don't know why I was laughing, but we both just started laughing. And she was laughing because one of the other guys, they did something funny. But the next day I asked, like, why did you laugh? And why did I also laugh? And they said, because like we're connected. Like when we sit in front of you, we're connected. And so her joy became my joy, and I found that really crazy and really beautiful.
That is really beautiful.
So when I was going through like really heavy stuff, she was feeling it then.
Yeah.
And how they like guide you through it is that they sing these things called Icaros, and Icaros are like songs like from indigenous culture that they sing, that comes to them, that's uniquely made for you, and it comes to them as they're sitting in front of you, and they sing what they think that you need to hear, or like to guide you through the session.
Is it actual words, or are they just like speaking in tongues?
It's like, I think it's like indigenous language. But at one point there was really beautiful, like they were closing the ceremony and they were like singing, but the singing became like softer, and then at one point they just started making bird calls, and it was just really beautiful towards the end, and it was kind of like them guiding us out of it.
That's lovely. Yeah,
it was really beautiful, and I think one of the other guys was like, that was beautiful. Like, yeah,
one of the 3 guys.
Yeah, they were like, that was really beautiful, and I was like, I fucking know if it is. But
well,
so yeah,
dumbass.
Icaros are really beautiful, like so beautiful. But yes, the women, the shamans there, so lovely. The Andean shaman, he just had like, I couldn't really speak to him properly, but he had this smile about him that just was so universal.
I love that. Is that the one who blessed the
yeah, he blessed our bracelets.
We have friendship bracelets blessed by a shaman, and I think that's just that.
That's just that, and it's so us.
It's so us.
It's so us to
have.
It's
the most us thing we could have done.
Honestly,
you could have done. I did nothing. I was just here.
I was like, I need one for Sophie ASAP. And I told him, I was like, I'm bringing this home for a friend. And then he took it and he blessed it. And he was really cute. Like,
thank you, sir.
Yeah, he was really sweet. He had like this little like taxidermied llama. Yeah. That he would carry around, and it was kind of his purse. It was kind of his purse, because he would put inside the llama.
So cunt.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I think it was called Mapacho. He had
was
a name.
The name. That's like, is that the name for llamas in a language, or is
that's its name?
Like, it's, and I'm gonna call you
Mapacho. And so he would carry around this taxidermied llama, and he would put coca leaves inside, and like
No, not cocoa leaves. That would have been nice.
Cocoa leaves inside, and the llama is a conduit for him to speak to the spiritual world. So he would take it to the ceremonies.
So funny.
And at one point, he let me hold it. He's like, "Here, you
Not
can
the
hold
llama.
it.
Here,
Yeah,
hold the llama, the dead llama.
hold the dead llama." And I was like, "Oh," and he would laugh at me. And I was like, "I've never held something like this. I don't know how to feel." And he's like, "It's nice. He's a friend." Yeah, I was like,
It's a friend, and you can also
yeah,
speak to
yeah.
spirits.
And it also functions as a purse.
For my drugs.
So
Oh
good.
my God,
But
what
yeah,
a legend.
he was so nice. And he makes beautiful bracelets.
He made them too.
Yeah,
Wow.
shout out to him.
Shout outs to him.
Yeah, like in between the ayahuasca
so
sessions,
nice.
he'd be down doing his crafts. Like,
He's
yeah.
an arts and crafts girly.
He would do his arts and crafts.
Fuck.
Yes.
I love him.
Yeah, and he had like
he deals cocoa leaves and arts and crafts.
Yeah, and
stuff.
like is a spiritual leader. Like, incredible.
Fuck yeah. He's the cult leader I'd love to be.
Honestly, it's like that Grimes, like Ducky is my cult leader.
Well, he's my cult leader and also my muse.
This man is literally my cult leader and literally my muse.
Let's go.
So yeah, people ask, would you do it again? And I say, in maybe 5 years, potentially less than that, honestly. If I speak Spanish, if I learn Spanish sooner than that,
yeah.
I would go back to the place. Like, the staff, I'm Peruvian, and the staff are Peruvian, and they look like my cousins.
Yeah.
And I was saying to my mom, like, these people could be my cousins.
Yeah.
Like, if I didn't know. And I told them that, the staff, the doctor, and the psychologist was 26, a year older than me. And people are going to say, oh, she's too young to be a psychologist, especially in ayahuasca. But, like, whatever. Like, she also has done ayahuasca, and she comes from the area, so she knows the spiritual importance of it.
If we're speaking about time being a construct, then you can be a psychologist at 26.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
She was so knowledgeable, and she was so, like, she helped me process so many things. But I did tell them, like, I was like, you guys could be, like, I was saying to my mom, like, you guys could be my cousins. And they were like, we are your cousins, we are your family. And I was like, it's like, thank you. Like, so I know cute. That you're working. And like, there's like,
and I'm paying you.
Yeah. And I'm
for this.
And there's a professional boundary that we cannot really cross right now. But I appreciate that so much. And I will be coming back one day. Like, and yeah, I think, like, if someone were to ask me, like, should I go do ayahuasca? And it's like, if you ask me that, don't. Like, no, you shouldn't.
Don't.
Like, don't ask me if you're asking me for yes or no. If you come to me being like, I have this idea of wanting to do it, would you recommend it? And I would say yes. If you have that idea already, then go and do it.
Yeah.
But don't come looking to me to be like, would you recommend it?
Because no, I would not recommend it.
I would not recommend it to anyone.
I've never done it, but I would not recommend doing that if it's a question for you, if you want to do it. Like, if you want to do it, if you already made up your mind and you just want more information, we can talk about that, right? But I just don't think that. I think that's something that needs to come from within. Yes. And if it doesn't,
for certain. Otherwise, you're gonna end up like those guys and like leave 2 days. Yeah, leave.
I learned what consent is, and now my world's completely different.
So yes, if you go do ayahuasca, you have to be ready to put in the work. You have to be ready. You have to be at a mental level that is able to withstand it. Like, people tell my experience to people, and people say, like, you're really brave for doing this, and like,
you are really brave for doing
this. Like, part of me is like, am I brave, or am I just really like naive or like stupid? But I appreciate that. However, I guess to some extent there is some sort of bravery, like some sort of like taking a risk. Like, I took a very calculated risk and it worked out.
You took a calculated risk, but you also took a risk of like literally putting something into your body where you didn't know what's going to happen with it, what's going to be the outcome of it. And it wasn't fully calculated. It also was really brave, because you know how many people say they want to do something and then they never do it because they lacked the bravery of actually pulling through and actually like doing things, because people are great at talking the talk and people are really bad at walking the walk.
Yeah.
And you barely talk the talk and then you just walk the walk.
Yeah, no, I went from 0 to 100 real quick. Like,
yeah. And I think that's brave as fuck. Like, you went to a country that you've been to once, twice before, alone, with like 3 months of preparation, did all of that, paid your money, your energy and so on into going there, getting there, doing all that,
taking
traveling
free
there.
flights. Like,
Exactly.
I felt like I literally flung my body across the world.
Exactly. You also like did a whole lot of preparation, like didn't freaking eat salt for 2 weeks. Who does that? Like, that's too much commitment for me.
Next time I would follow the diet better. Like, people even there followed the diet to a T. Like, those men that ate literally no salt were like,
good for them,
so strict. But even though you can follow the diet to a T, like I said, it's like your mother. Regardless of whatever you do, you will get served information. Like, regardless of how good you are preparing for it, you will get what you need to hear in that moment.
The idea is also to like get served information. Like, the idea isn't to go through, to just fly through.
No, I was speaking to a friend and he was like, I was like, I just thought the revelations would be like easier. And he was like, you thought you would have easy revelations?
Revelations tend to not be easy, to be fair.
Yeah, I was like, I just thought they would be like kind of nice revelations, but no. I mean,
like, sweet.
Yeah, just like easy revelations. Hey, like, just love yourself more.
Exactly. Like,
no, yeah,
just be nicer to yourself sometimes, but not all the time,
no,
because
it's
it's also
You're
kind
doing
of
your
okay. Like,
best. It's okay.
Yeah. No, it's meant to be a fucking slap in the face.
It was a big fucking it was a big slap in the face.
Yeah. And I think that's okay.
Yeah,
like, it literally is like your not that mothers should slap people in the face.
We do not condone slapping in the face.
Don't like that. But every now and then people need to hear something. No physical violence, please. But every now and then people need to hear something, and it's hard to say it and it's hard to hear. And it still is very relevant, and just because it's hard to be heard, it doesn't mean that it shouldn't be heard.
Yes.
It actually means that it should be heard even more.
So big lesson above all of this from coming back is acceptance. Just learning to accept. I find it hard to accept my emotions still, and it's a thing that I have to work on. But yeah, I think I told you earlier that I'm learning to say it's okay. Yeah, it's okay to myself. Like, it's okay when you feel these emotions, when you have like you're feeling sad or anything. Like, it's just okay. So when you accept, you're able to move on. Like, I would skip the accepting part and go to the next step, but I wouldn't get too far because I just missed the first step. So acceptance is really, really important.
And that's a fact.
Period.
No, it is really important, and I think I think we're all like troubleshooting so much. Like, every time something goes wrong, or like not in the way we planned, we're already like 5 steps into planning the next thing, and like redoing what we tried to do, or like, trying to circle back to whatever point in time things were okay, or whatever. But sometimes just sitting with an uncomfortable emotion and accepting that fully, and then going on from there, gives you the time and the mental capacity to actually do something with it that's helpful and good for you, and not just troubleshooting. Because the thing about troubleshooting is you're just shooting somewhere and not into the right, like, not towards the aim.
But yes, accepting, since coming back, I think as well, I have such a deep appreciation for all life. Like I appreciate my job, my house, my
It's a good
friends and
house.
family. It is a good house. It houses me.
I like this house.
Yeah, it has a roof.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, no, like my boss asked me how do I feel, and I was like, I feel really grateful, really, really, really grateful.
Love that.
And yeah, like now that I'm back, how can I continue to practice loving kindness? How can I see more loving kindness like in the world? It's there. I just need to see it. How can I be a participant? What kind of acts can I give and do for people? And whilst also not expecting anything in return.
And while not people pleasing.
No more people pleasing. Neighbors, neighbors.
Could you shut up? Please?
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that was my ayahuasca trip.
Good trip.
Good trip.
I just said we shouldn't say good and evil, and then I said good trip. I'm sorry.
Go.
Interesting trip.
Interesting trip.
Revelating trip.
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Revelating.
Revelating.
Yeah.
Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. This is not my first language. Beautiful. Beautiful. Nah, I was one of the only people you talked to throughout your trip,
Yes.
which I really found beautiful.
Yes.
I also was part of one of your trips.
Yes.
Which to be fair, so you sent me a voice memo telling me about that, and while listening to the voice memo, I did not cry whatsoever, surely not.
No.
Nah, I found it like I was so far away, obviously, because I'm on the other side of the world. But I still felt so connected to you, and I was so proud of you throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I was just really happy to see you do that thing, because it's like, yeah, I mean, I wasn't there. I didn't go there with you, but I felt like, I don't know, I just felt like in spirit, in emotions, in whatever, I was there, and I was like fully supporting you at any given point in time, and it was so beautiful seeing you come out of that, and just like, I don't know, I feel like you're stepping into your light a bit more.
Yeah.
And we had that conversation when you got back, where we talked about being more like taking your space, taking the space that you deserve, and knowing how much space you deserve.
Yeah.
And stepping into that more. And I feel like you're doing that. And I find that really beautiful to see and to witness.
Yeah. No, like for some context, like another part of the trip that I'll like explain. So after like a few really scary revelations or like visions, ayahuasca showed me Sophie, and I had a vision of
I'm
us.
Sophie.
I had a vision of us. It was like a montage of us shopping for jeans, and like
I love a good montage.
Yeah. It was a montage of us shopping for jeans, and that night I had asked for deeper self acceptance, for not needing to look to other people, or like finding self acceptance within myself. But before ayahuasca, before like I had left, you were saying like ayahuasca's going to show you maybe like we shouldn't be friends, and like you were worried, but it showed me the complete opposite. It was like, this girl is really important in your life, and you should really keep like hold her dear. And that was like, yeah, if ayahuasca said it, it must be true.
I mean, mom said it.
Yeah, mom said it. Mom said it.
Mom said it now.
My mom said you have to be friends with me.
Exactly.
So that was really beautiful, and it was like she was saying that Sophie will help you come to deeper self-acceptance. And I see that within you. Like you were so confident, and I like admire that so much about you. You have such conviction about what you do, and I'm like, I just want to learn how to be more like that. Like I find it really admirable.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the one thing I said is fake it till you make
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And I'm still faking it every day.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
I listened to, so last night I really, I just doom scrolled all throughout last night because I was so tired. And it was fun. Like, it was the first time this year that I like took a full 5 hours of doom scrolling.
Yeah.
And I saw this video of this girl who said that um, the fun thing about confidence is it's not measurable and no one will ever see if it's real or not. You can just pretend
Mhm.
as long as you want to. And at one point, it will just be there because you forget that you pretend.
Mm.
And I think that's literally like one of the main things. And then, yeah, as I said, having, yeah, just knowing how much space is there for you, and also knowing that that space is infinite.
Mm.
Literally, you can take up as much space as you fucking want to because it's your space.
Mm.
And like, I feel like as long as you don't step on anyone's toes,
Mm.
it's so chill. Like,
Yeah.
you deserve to shine, you deserve your spotlight.
Mm.
And we talked about that in um the like in our last
Mm.
episode, where I said I do have a god complex, but I
Mm.
see my god complex more as a like Greek god type thing,
Mm.
where um we all are gods. Like, we just share the spotlight and everyone
Yeah.
is good in something else.
Yeah.
And I think if we stop being like super into individualism, is that a word? I don't
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
um and started to see ourselves more as like a part of something bigger,
Mm.
um whilst still taking up our space and using that space to do something that's helpful
Mm.
and kind and loving and
Mm.
gentle, then that's the way to go, kind
Mm.
of,
Mhm.
um and I think knowing that gives a bunch of confidence,
Yeah.
because I can just walk into whatever room and be like, I'll find my spot here. I'll find my space here.
Yeah.
And if someone here doesn't want me to have my space here, you know what? Then I can leave. It's
Mm.
chill. Like, I don't need to have a space here, but if I can, I will, and it's gonna
Mm.
be awesome.
I love it, Sophie. I love. Mm.
Yeah. But that took me a while.
Mm.
Like, that
It
took,
definitely is something that needs to be learned
yeah.
over time. It's not something that you just wake up one day being.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
you can, but it does take practice.
exactly. Um, I I still have to remind myself of it.
Yeah.
Like, I just started a new job, and so I started a new job at a cafe, and there is always anxiety coming with that, right? Like,
Mm.
you go into somewhere new, into like, I've done like waitressing before and whatnot, but not there, not in that system, not in that culture, not in, like, there's just a lot of new stuff, new people, as in a new team, but also new customers. Um, and when I first walked in there, I was like, I'm just Sophie. Like, I'm just hi. Like, being like really, like, kind of not shy, because that's just not part of my personality anymore. But I was like, not my full self and my true self.
Mm.
And then at one point I was like, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What are
Mhm.
you doing
This is not
here?
on brand.
This is exactly, this is not the person we are. Like, fuck, have an unsettlingly big ego again, Sophie.
Mhm.
Let's fucking do that. Um and that's when things started being fun too, because that's
Mm.
when people start to see you as someone with, like, if you show people how much space you want and need, then they'll be like, I respect that.
Mm.
And as I said, if they don't, then you can also fucking leave. It's
Mm.
so chill. Like,
Mhm.
I'm here now. So maybe you have to rethink your spot here. I don't know. If you want to be a hater, um
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is true.
Yeah. I just don't believe in hating.
We're all love here. We're all love
Sorry.
here.
That's shit like that. I'm sorry. I can be a big hater if I really want to.
So what's on?
There's a lot on this list, but we have gone through. So I think we're going through the list that I wrote. So it says ayahuasca trip review, and I said what
Ayahuasca
happened.
retreat.
Trip review. Like, out of 10,
Yeah.
what you got?
Out of 10, ooh, 8.
Nice.
8.
I like a good 8 out of 10. I fuck with that. So what happened? How did you feel? What are you bringing back with you? What are you prioritizing now? And I think we went through all of those.
Well-rounded episode.
Right. And then yeah, that's it from my side, except for what's your favorite song right now?
Ooh, okay. So I've been making playlists for about 4 years now.
I love that.
I make a playlist every month.
Right.
And this month is quite small because yeah, I've been traveling. But I do have a few songs. So favorite song by Chance the Rapper and Childish Gambino.
Yes.
Do you know the song?
Fucking love
yes,
it.
right?
Of course.
It's old, but it's great.
Yeah.
It takes me back to a time like in university.
Yeah.
And The Spins by Mac Miller.
I've been listening to The Spins so often.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is, but my housemates also are listening to The Spins all the time.
Yeah.
I'm listening to it. You're listening to it.
Yeah.
What's with the revival of The Spins?
I think like it has like Empire of the Sun in the background. Like
Yes.
that's the sample of it. And I just love the mixing of like this really indie with like this rap. So that's really good.
Yeah. I also think
Yeah.
So ever since Saltburn came out, people have loved the like coming to age movie vibe again, and I feel like this is such a like MGMT vibe.
Oh my god,
know?
yes, I love
like,
MGMT.
Yeah, because like Time to Pretend is in Saltburn, for example. And I just feel like, so for me at least, I've been listening to stuff like that so much recently because it's amazing, and that just gives that vibe.
Everybody Loves the Sunshine by Roy Ayers Ubiquity.
Cute.
These songs are tied to when I was in Peru, so I feel like I'll listen to them every time and take me back, and that's why I love these playlists. Like I can go back into 2023 of March and know exactly my mind space of that month. People Every Day by Arrested Development. Space Song, Beach House. Oh, such a vibe.
Fuck yeah.
Such a vibe.
I haven't thought about that song in ages.
It feels like I'm transcending. Yeah. I'm levitating with that song. Like I'm transcending Earth. Ballad of a Homeschool Girl by Olivia Rodrigo. I love Olivia.
I love our girl Olivia.
She hits.
Shoutouts.
Every song is a hit.
Fuck yeah.
Home by Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros.
Okay.
Samba de Janeiro. I've been loving a lot of Portuguese, Brazilian songs.
Love that.
And Little L by Jamie Raquai.
Yeah, I wouldn't fucking know.
Okay, Little L. Such a vibe of a song. Disco. Reminds me of like Daft Punk. Like who were the people who did Boney M? Like
fuck.
Yeah, it's like Daft Punk, Boney M. I love music.
I love music.
I love music. Great. So yeah, those are the songs I would recommend. Those are all my faves this month. But yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
I think my song of the day to day at least is Sun by Dolphin Love. He's an artist from Berlin, and my friend Fiona, shoutouts Fioni, Fioni Versace, like went to LA with him and like a whole like production crew last year, and they shot a short film for his EP. And I think it was like shortly after I got here and she went to LA, and we both like had a very emotional time, both like being in the sun on the beach while it was cold and disgusting in Berlin, but like at different points in the world. but it was so beautiful because I kind of like feel like we shared this experience even though we weren't there together. And the short film came out last Friday. I watched it today for the first time and I just cried. Like, it was so beautiful. It's so good. So and that was part of the EP. And Sun is the first song out of that EP, and it was amazing. And the movies, like the film's amazing. So that's my song of the day.
Love. I have to check this song out.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Yes,
I also
please.
have to check the movie out. It's really good.
Oh, yes,
Put it into my Insta story.
Yes, I saw. I need to watch. Yeah.
Yes, that's that. I need to go now.
Yes.
Fuck, yeah, I do. Cool. It's 1919. We're gonna make a wish and fuck off. Thank you for listening. Follow Geraldine on Instagram. Follow the podcast. Follow me. Do whatever you gotta do. Have an amazing day. And don't do drugs.
Not recommend. But you make your own decisions.
Exactly. You do whatever
you're an
you
adult,
do, Babs.
hopefully.
Exactly. If you're not, overthink your choices in listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is for minors. It also is like there's like it's not an age thing, but it is like
rated.
Yeah.
Oh, they
is
do
it R-rated? Yeah.
R-rated.
Is it called R-rated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They rate it. Spotify.
Well, I did.
Oh, you rated it.
You have to click like, is this safe for minors? And I'm like, you know what?
Okay.
I'd
given
probably
you warning.
say so.
Yeah.
But what do I know? I say a bunch of really fucked up shit all the time and then I forget about it. So maybe we should just pretend that it's not for minors.
But yes.
And roll with it.
You are an adult. Make your own decisions.
Exactly. And have fun.
Yeah. Live
and
life.
Don't. It would be amazing if everyone learned consent without having to turn 40 and going to an ayahuasca retreat. And that's all I gotta say. That's my last words.
Agreed.
Yeah. Nice. Have an amazing day. Goodbye. Bye.